Hello, fellow punters. Welcome to the weekly Bookie Basher show with Mickey D, and presently I will be joined by the Stig. I'll be also giving a double later on for St. Stephen's Day, and we'll get a nap next best and each way selection of the Stig at the end. Like to welcome everybody from all over the world and wish them all a very safe and healthy Christmas and all the best for 2023. And let's hope it's a profitable holiday season for us and also profitable for all of next year and a healthy one as well. Great to have you all with us, and we will kick on with the show. The King George is the top race on the weekend on Easter on St. Stephen's Day. I'm getting carried away with myself. You've never seen that before, a man with a Christmas hat on in a Cheltenham background. But the King George is the big race, 3 miles. Where'll I get down to the field? There's nine runners, 4 favourites in the last 10 years. The last favourite was 2017, Might Bite, was 6-4 favourite. 6 of the last 11 was won by Paul Nicholls. 1 Irish winner in the last 11 runnings. That was last year, Tornado Flyer for Willie Mullins. In the last 11 runnings, there was one 11-year-old, Cotto Star, in 2011. There was a 9-year-old in 2015, Q Card, who sadly passed away yesterday. Great horse. I was in Cheltenham when it won the bumper in 2010 at 40-1 as a 4-year-old. 1 6-year-old won the King George. That was Clandis Obo in 2018 and went on to win the following year again. 5 8-year-olds and 3 7-year-olds. So the 8-year-olds is nearly 50%. Brave Man's Game is 5 for 6 over fences. Its only defeat was an entry to a high senior last year in the Grade 1. He's a great jumper, a solid engine. He's rated 164. L'Empresse is rated 170. That went up a few pounds for winning the rehearsal chase there. It's 6 for 7 over fences, and its only defeat was in the same race last year. It was actually ahead of Brave Man's Game. Ahoy Seniors rated 161, 3 for 8 over fences, but it's headless at times and makes awful blunders. It is the right engine when it keeps on going. I thought a bet in this at 7-1 was Envoi Allen. It's supposed to be raining and the ground is going to be soft. And if he's 6 for 9 over fences, the change of yards before Cheltenham last year, it wasn't ideal, and he fell as an odds-on shot in Cheltenham, and the change brought him back into different distances and that. And I thought the last day when he was brought up to 3 miles, remember that this won a pint to pint and was sold for 400,000. So this is what this was bought for originally, and if it had a few setbacks, but I thought it it jumped deliberate and very careful the last time, but in the last half a mile it was very good, I thought, and if it improves a bit for the run, I thought 7-1 as an each way option was a play in that. Have you any views on and opinions on the King George Stig?
So we have the King George on Monday, one of the highlights over the Christmas period, and Paul Nicholls usually has a strong hand in the King George, and this year is no different. I can see Frodon making the running with Bryony Frost last year. Herself and Minella Indo and Rachel Blackmore cut each other's throats early on and opened it up for horses to come from the back. This year I do think there will be a strong pace on in the race again with Frodon, and I can see L'Empresse also trying to be up towards the top 2 or 3 in the running. So I think you're going to need a real stayer to win this, even though Kempton is a flat track and usually suits the speed horse. Brave Man's Game's jumping will definitely keep him up towards the front 4 as well. But I think L'Empresse will be the horse to beat here. The ground is turning softer as the days go on. and I think his win in the rehearsal carrying 12 stone was a decent performance. I don't think Charlie Deutsch was really going for everything in that race. He looked like he cruised through it, and I think La Presse will win the King George.
Thanks for that, as always. The 4-day Leopardstown card starts off, and in the Grade 2, the Juvenile race, Lossiemouth, who was very impressive in Fairy House, and you pointed out that and gave your opinion on it the last time. What do you expect in that race the next day?
The 110 in Leopardstown on Monday sees the Juvenile hurdle take place, and as you mentioned, Lossiemouth was a horse that really took my eye out a few weeks ago. You could really see her as being the winner the whole way around in the race, and the way she quickened from the last to the line was so impressive. But like the rest of the horses in the race, they're very much unexposed. You have a lot of unbeaten horses coming in here. Another horse in which I mentioned a few months ago, maybe at this stage now, was McTeague for Emmett Mullins. Now he will have to give weight away because he's a Grade 2 winner over in France, but I think they've kind of reopposed too quickly with him. When he won in France, they went back over again another 4 weeks later on heavy ground, and I think that might have just been too quick a turnaround, especially for a 3-year-old. So I definitely give that horse a bit of an each way chance as well at the prices, but I definitely be expecting Lossiemouth to improve her Triumph Hurdle credentials here. But again, very short price, but McTeague would just be one to keep an eye out, I think, in the race also.
And when I have you now, I might as well ask you as well about the Grade 1 Chase Fil Dor that you napped 4 shows ago. That's out again this time. It's an even money shot. It's Hollow Games from the same yard is up against it. But Jack Kennedy has chosen Fil Dor.
Yeah, I'm a massive Fil Dor fan, Mickey. I think he is the winner of this race. I think he'll do it quite well. He's getting £6 off everything else in the race because he's a 4-year-old. I thought his debut the last day against Samoa was excellent. I thought he was foot perfect at his jumps. And I just love his battling qualities. Like, even when he was down and out in the hurdle race, he lost to Brazil. Like, even to the line, he was closing the whole time. He just keeps going and keeps galloping. And I think that Hollow Games is a tricky little horse to get right. Last year, he was a bit all over the place. He was in and out of form. He was well fancied to be one of Gordon's best novices last year, and it just didn't really work for him. Gordon's been on about different trips for him. He thinks he's run over the wrong trip, and now he thinks that he's a reformed 2-miler, and I just don't see it with him. His jumping was very, very good in Navan. I thought he was very impressive that day, but I just think Fil Dor getting the weight and the way he jumps and the way he travels through his races, I can't see Fil Dor not winning this race.
Thanks for that, Stig. There's 2 races every year that I do look at, and I've been sort of lucky in it, is the Bumper in Down Royal. Noel Mead has won 3 out of the last 5, and he is a favourite there again this year, Falte, and that was second to King of Kingsfield, and that's one of the favourites for the Cheltenham Bumper. So to boost that for him, to give that a chance, you'd imagine that this should run well enough in that. And in the preceding race, it's a race as well that throws up a pretty solid winner every year, is Vaucelet. It was 3rd in this last year, but it was 2nd to Billoway in Punchestown, and it won a pint to pint recently. So it's fairly fit. It's still only a 7-year-old. So I thought that maybe that could be a double that we could do. The best odds there are 13 to 8 and 9 to 4. I just asked the Stig about, he's a great fan of Fassal Vega, and that's down to run on Tuesday in the Grade 1. What do you expect in that race? I suppose there's only 6 declared to run. So just get your view, because I know that you're nearly the founder member of the fan club of Fassal Vega.
So Fassal Vega is the horse that I've been following before he's ever hit the track. So when Willie Mullins was asked for a horse to follow last year, he said he had a walk at the park out of Q Vega horse before it was ever named, and he just said that this horse would take the eye out of you when he's on the gallops. And once he was named Fassal Vega, I started following him straight away in the tracker and making sure I was watching all his races. And to be honest, he hasn't done anything ever that I haven't been wowed by. He absolutely kicked American Mike to the side last year when there was this big clash being built up, that this was going to be a real hot bumper, and even on heavy ground, good to soft, he's just been very impressive. The only horse that seemed to ever get him any bit off the bridle was Redemption Day last year, one of his own stablemates, and in this race I can't see anything really troubling him. It is the toughest race he's going to be in so far, so his jumper will obviously have to be slick. He kind of had a look at the third last in Fairyhouse, but when he went past the line in Fairyhouse, from what I'm told, he was very hard to pull up, and that's what you just love to see with a horse, that they could go around again. So Fassal Vega, it could be a horse you're looking at now saying even money for the Supreme is very, very, very short, but he could turn up on the day at 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and we'll all be saying even money was value.
Thanks for that, Stig. And now the grade 1, the Chase, Chacun Pour Soir is actually 13-8 favourite there with the Green Bouquet and Blue Lord. How do you expect that to go?
So this race really revolves around 2 horses, and for me that is Chacun Pour Soir and Blue Lord. To be honest with you, I think Chacun Pour Soir will win this race. Paul Townend has chosen him as his mount, and it'll be a big ask for Blue Lord, I think, to come to Leopardstown, where Chacun Pour Soir is usually absolutely outstanding. He absolutely flies his fences in Leopardstown. The only thing that may catch Chacun Pour Soir out, which has been his Achilles heel, is his finishing effort really from the back of the last to the line. And I think Blue Lord, I don't think Blue Lord is a 2-miler. I think he's probably a 2.5-miler. So I think he'll definitely be closing, and it's whether or not Chacun Pour Soir can put the race to bed 2, 3, 4 out. That's where he puts horses to the absolute pin of their collar. And like the last day, Blue Lord set out the back of that 4-runner race. He lobbed around. His jumping wasn't very electric or anything like that. That word would never really come to mind for me for Blue Lord. And beating Tornado Flyer by her neck, the Rassel by 2 3/4 or 3 lengths, I don't think that's the type of form that's going to see Chacun Pour Soir beat here, when this is his home venue. This is where he's best on home soil. So I think Chacun Pour Soir will win that race. Closers will likely be Blue Lord maybe in second, and I could see maybe somebody like Course Sublime slipping into third place.
And now what you've been waiting for, we'll ask the Stig, what is his nap, his next best, and an each-way selection for Stephen's Day, Boxing Day 2022.
So my first horse that I'm going to tip up for the Christmas period runs in the 220 in Leopardstown on the 26th, and it's a horse that I have been mentioning on the show today and a few weeks back, which is Fil Dor. He's currently priced around 11 to 10, which is quite short, but I think he'll definitely win this race. He's probably one of my strongest selections over the whole of Christmas, Fil Dor, and for reasons that I mentioned earlier on, his jumping, his ability to stick to the task all the way to the line, I just think he's going to be very, very hard to beat here in this 2-mile 1 chase. And Fil Dor is going to be my nap. My next best runs in the 145 in Leopardstown, and it's a Tony Martin horse called the Brookie. Now, I backed this horse when the prices opened up at 15 to 2. He's currently priced around 9 to 2, and I think off a mark of 110, being a Tony Martin horse, especially this time of year in those handicaps around Leopardstown, I think he definitely has a bit of wiggle room in that. He won a Shade Cosley in Limerick the last day, and he was a horse that I put in my tracker from his previous run, which he came 3rd or 4th. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he took my eye that day, and I tracked him, and he won the last day. With obviously Tony Martin being the trainer, you know he's a big target trainer, so this I think will be the target, like Good Time Johnny last year as well in the Leopardstown Festival. My next best then is a horse that viewers may recognise and have in their tracker from a few months back, which I told them would be ready to win a handicap at some stage in the year, and I'm hoping this is the time that he's going to win this handicap. And it's Panda Boy, who's running in the 3 o'clock in Leopardstown on the 27th. Now, Martin Brazel, like Tony Martin, is a very, very shrewd operator in terms of targeting his races, and I think this horse, this has been the race he's been targeted towards all year. He won a nice handicap hurdle here last year as well, and won it in good style, and I think now that he's over fences, now that he's in his handicap company, I think this will have been the target all year, and currently around 6 to 1 I backed him. He opened up at 25 to 1 when the price initially came out, and I missed them for a couple of days, and I picked him up at 12 to 1. He's currently around 6 to 1, and I think he will go very close. I think bookies are playing almost 6 places in this race, and Panda Boy is my next best, and I expect him to go close.
Thanks very much for that, Stig. And I want to wish you a happy Christmas and a profitable Christmas and a profitable and healthy 2023 from myself and from all the followers on the bus. And we hope to hear from you again in the new year. We will, each day you can send me on your selections for your nap next best and each way, and I'll post them in the description. It'll be great to see you're on a good run lately, so let's hope that continues. At this point, I'd like to wish everybody, all the passengers on the bus from all over the world, to wish you a healthy, peaceful and happy Christmas and a great new year. And I'll be back. I'll be going racing to Leopardstown, I think, on Stevens's Day, and the first 3 days, and I might get to Limerick on the 29th. That's the plan. I hope the good weather stays sound for us all and that there's no cancellations or anything. And thank you to everybody for leaving lovely messages. And you're a great bunch. And I'll get back with some of them. It's 1:35 on Friday night. I have to collect a busload of young people now, and they'll be probably in a boisterous manner when I collect them. So we'll get this up tomorrow at some time. That'll be on Christmas Eve. So from wherever you are all over the world, we'll all sing Silent Night together. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glorious feelings from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Saviour is born, Christ the Saviour is born. Happy Christmas, bash the bookies, over and out.